The world-famous Butch and Bob Show.
World famous Butch and Bob Show right here on WIFO 105.5 FM in Jesup, Big Dog Country Radio. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm here.
You're
I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready. We got a couple of guests on this morning. Let's go ahead and start with our first one. Go ahead.
We got the chamber here. Mark Watson's in here again. The big vote tomorrow. Not only the Georgia presidential primary, but the SPLOST 5 referendum, and the chamber has endorsed the SPLOST 5 vote, encouraging people to vote for this 1 cent penny tax that brings in millions and millions of dollars to Wayne County, cities of Jesup, Odom, and Scriven for major projects. So, Mark, the floor is yours. Appreciate you coming in.
Good deal. Thank you, gentlemen, again for having us on. We just wanted to come on one more time before the election tomorrow. I know a lot of times, folks just assume something is going to pass, or they assume that vote's going to turn out a certain way. I think we've learned over the last few years that it's important that folks get out and vote. So first off, I want to make sure that we encourage everyone to vote. I have no doubt that if we telephone polled every citizen in Wayne County, every property owner in Wayne County, that the majority of the citizens in Wayne County are in favor of this SPLOST. But the thing comes down to it, it's who votes, who has voted already, and who votes tomorrow. So we just want to encourage folks to get out and vote. And again, I just want to make sure folks do know that the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce, most times we don't take a stance in any type of voting or political elections or anything like that. But in this case, we felt like it was important enough that we did need to come out and fully support and endorse this, and we do. And one other point I want to bring out real quick, and gentlemen, I'm gonna get out of y'all's way here pretty quick so y'all can spend some time talking to our sheriff this morning. But I just want to make sure everyone knows. I think some folks I've heard comments that the county's not really acting like they're pushing for it. The county employees can't push for this. According to Georgia law, when you have an election like this for the SPLOST, they can put out information, but they can't endorse, they can't take a stance, they can't tell you to vote for it or anything. So one thing I just want to focus on real quick this morning, I had gotten with our county administrator, Paul Drawdy, and we had talked last time I was here about the projects that were coming up that were going to be done with the funds from this SPLOST. And I want to go over real quickly again those projects so folks can know where that money is going to be spent. Again, they're projecting about $28 million over 6 years. They think that's a lowball number, that it actually will be more than that. But in looking, and the thing I want to stress is the insight and the depth that they've went into already budgeting for these projects, so folks will know that they're not going to be wasting money, that the money is going to be spent the best way possible. And looking at the courthouse project, they're estimating that around a $10 million project. Paul says they're monitoring construction costs, that they're looking right now. Those costs are ranging from $450 to $650 a square foot, with the $650 square foot obviously being, a lot of glass, a lot of architectural things. So in Paul's words, that's just not Wayne County. That's not us. So they're looking at about a 14,000 square foot building. And they already have the layout of how that's going to go. They've done some preliminary work on that, and it's pretty neat because they're going to utilize the clerk of court's office, the existing sheriff's office complex, and the existing courthouse. And the new 14,000 square foot building will actually connect all of those, and it'll have one way in and one way out. And they're hoping through that project they're going to spend a little over $9.5 million, and that'll give them some money also to go back and do some renovations to the old courthouse. This is the one really that got my attention. When you look at the road and street equipment, it's about $1 million that will be spent on that. There are 292 miles of paved road in Wayne County, 482 miles of dirt road. Okay, SPLOST is used to pave new roads, and LMIG, which is the local maintenance and improvement grant from the Department of Transportation, and T-SPLOST is what's used to resurface those roads. A paved road lasts about 20 years before you have to resurface. So they're resurfacing about 13 to 15 miles per year to stay on track and to keep our roads in good shape. New pavement is paid for by the SPLOST dollars, and they're saying right now it costs about $220,000 per mile for new pavement. So they identify roads for new pavement. They use that. They identify it by the roads that citizens live on, the ones that give them the most problems, that cost the most dollars to maintain as a dirt road. And then they'll also use some of that money to maintain the dirt roads by buying equipment to do that, motor graders, dump trucks, front-end loaders, and bulldozers and things like that. So that's a lot of road to maintain, and this is one of those items that, SPLOST or no SPLOST, these funds have to be there. And I think we're all real enough to understand that if the SPLOST doesn't pass, there's really only one other way that you can raise funds of the county in order to make up that deficit, and that's property taxes.
Now, if you're a property owner, you definitely want it to pass.
And that's what I want to push. But, I've had several folks that would say, well, it's like you're giving property owners an ultimatum. You either pass this or we're going to raise your property taxes. And that's the furthest from the truth, but we do need to get the facts out there. And the facts are, if this doesn't pass, again, there's only one other way to raise those funds, and that is property taxes. So it's just one of those things. It's a counter effect from what happens. If it doesn't pass, the only way you're going to be able to make up that deficit is going to be by raising property taxes. Public safety, that's another one that the money has to be raised. It has to be spent. It's $780,000 is what they're projecting off the SPLOST. Most of that is for police, fire, and EMS. It's mostly used on vehicles. And in Paul's words, as you can imagine, it's unsafe for first responders during an emergency response to be in an old vehicle with a lot of miles. So they want the folks to get there safe, fast, and able to operate on the scene. They've been utilizing a lot of SPLOST and ARP COVID money to make the purchases in an attempt to be the best stewards possible and to make the SPLOST dollars go the furthest. So they've been trying to use other sources as well to do that. And then the last one, the recreation projects, around $6 million. There's two main things on that. One of them is the competition pool with a community center that's looking at about $4.5 million. The commissioners have already looked at indoor pools in surrounding counties. They're in the $2 and $3 million range. Because of those price fluctuations, they haven't made exactly a determination on whether it's going to be like a 10-lane pool, 8-lane pool, or 7-lane pool for competition. But when the SPLOST passes, whatever construction costs are at that time will determine how that pool is constructed. They're also going to build a community center and gym along with that. And to show you the foresight and the thought they're putting into this, they've already made contact with several YMCAs as far as to see how that stuff is run. And they've also even talked to them about a possible partnership down the road with the YMCA to bring that in here to Wayne County as well. And then the last is the Multipurpose Ag Center, and that's $1.5 million. And again, the center is going to be there. The $1.5 million is simply just for a cover. It's currently the facility is being built now by grant money from the state. That was procured by Randy Franks through the IDA. Randy and IDA approached the commissioners about putting that roof up, and this is going to be important because it's going to make it a truly multi-purpose facility that everyone can enjoy. You can have horse shows, rodeos, car shows, concerts, festivals. There's all kinds of events that you can have there. And then one of the other important things I don't think that we brought out enough is they're going to have this, with it being a county facility, recreation facility like any of the others, it can be rented out. So groups that want to have an event, I know us with the chamber, when we're doing events, a lot of times you're having to worry about the rain. A few years ago when we did a concert down on the river, we actually had to purchase insurance in case it did rain, so you don't lose all of your funds if you have a rain out. So this is one of those things, an 8,700 square foot covered arena, and they're wanting to build to have that so you can have these type of events and not worry about a weather forecast. But I want to close it out just by saying this. If you'll go on the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce Facebook page, we've got the little brochure that talks about Wayne County SPLOST 5. It lists all these projects. It also talks about SPLOST 4, the projects that were done with it, to show that money's been spent wisely. There's several interviews with a lot of folks, with Paul Drawdy, with the sheriff, with other folks, the mayors from Jason Weaver and Greg Rozier and Ralph Hickox, to show what they want to do with the money and what's needed with that money. So any information, any question you could possibly have, I know I can't answer all the questions in 5 or 10 minutes, but you can go to the Facebook page for the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce and you'll be able to find the answer to any question that you have. And again, I just want to stress again, folks, please just get out and vote tomorrow. If you haven't already voted in the early voting, make sure you take 5-10 minutes to stop by your voting facility and vote tomorrow. And think about the future of our county. Think about our kids. Think about development of our county. There's a lot hinging on this election tomorrow. So we want to make sure that folks get out and vote, and when they get out and vote, they do vote yes.
Now, you would think that Wayne Countyans, and they have voted for it for the last 20-something years, for the past 4. This is SPLOST 5. They would continue on with that. You see what it's done for this county over the last many years, so hopefully we'll continue the penny to help continue to develop the things that we need here in Wayne County and in our cities.
And that's an important point, Butch, and I'll make this in closing. You know, we talked last time, there's only been 2 elections that we could find where a SPLOST didn't pass, and that was in Whitfield County up in Dalton years ago and in Glenn County a couple years ago here. It took those 2 communities 1 year to realize they'd made a mistake. And 12 months later, both of those communities voted in the SPLOST after going a year without it. So let's make sure that we don't make that mistake and that we vote yes tomorrow when we get this thing passed.
And get the facts from the Chamber website, Facebook page, also from the from other websites for the cities and the county and stuff like that, to get the facts. And not the misinformation that you may read on social media on folks who have some sort of agenda of some sort. Just get the facts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Bob, anything else for Mark this morning?
I appreciate you coming in, but again, that's what they want to stress. This is not a new tax. It's just a continuation of one that's already been in place for 20 years. So they're just hoping they continue the penny.
Continue the penny.
But again, if you want the information, again, the Chamber did a great job putting that pamphlet out. So all that information is on that website. So appreciate all that.
Thank you again, guys, for all your support. The Chamber and the board, we appreciate all that y'all do for our community. We really do.
Mark Watson from the Wayne County Chamber of Commerce here on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Well, we got Sheriff Mosley in the green room. He's ready to come in here and talk. So we'll have him on in just a moment. 105.5 FM, Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO. We continue on with the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO. Bob, who do we have now?
We have the Sheriff Chuck Mosley of Wayne County, and always good to see you, Chuck. Again, the qualifying end is Friday. It is a 3-man race, and you want to wait and see who all qualify, which I understood. So tried to get you last week. You said, no, let me let qualifying in so I know exactly who all I'm running against. So you know it's a 3-man race, but we appreciate you coming in. You qualified early that Monday, so you're gearing up for another campaign, so tell Wayne County people why you want to continue to be sheriff.
Yes, sir. I'm running scared. I'm just asking everybody for their vote again. I hope what we've done so far in this term is pleasing. We've had a bunch of accomplishments, and of course I can't take credit for all that. It's with the help of the commission, the county administrators, both Ed Jeffers and Mr. Paul Drawdy. They've all been good to me, and the things that I've asked for, they saw fit to allow me to do, and we've done some good things. And I asked for 4 more years. My mouth dry. I'm nervous from being in here, Bob.
You want some water?
But I think we've done some good things, and I asked for 4 more years.
And when I interviewed you Monday, we talked about the equipment. You know, I said these guys put their life on the line every day, and you need equipment and vehicles, things like that. And as you mentioned, the commission has come through with the funding for the sheriff. For people that may not know how expensive the sheriff's budget is, what is the sheriff's budget for the year?
It went up to $8.3 million with the raises that we've got, and we've got some sizable raises. I was going to discuss all that. We the starting pay whenever I took office for a deputy sheriff was $13.61 an hour. With the help of the commission and county administrator and the funds that's raised in SPLOST that can be used to buy equipment, monies are allowed to be used for salaries that's in the general fund. It went from $13.61 to $18.13 an hour for deputies. The jailers was $11.21 an hour whenever I took office. We've got that up to $14.88 an hour. And then the dispatchers, which is they're also under the sheriff's office, went from $11.21 to $14.16 an hour.
Has this helped in losing personnel to other counties?
Yes, sir. And that's one big thing. Long County right now is building a jail. And whenever they get it up and running, we've already heard that they'll be making more money than the jailers here in Wayne County. So we'll be fighting the battle of losing jailers to the next county over. So this is a big help in retaining. You look at the cost of their salaries, but we also train them. And then whenever they leave to go somewhere else, we've lost deputies to counties such as McIntosh. And we've got all the money involved in the training of the guys, having them up, and the experience that they've had.
We've lost to McIntosh,
yes,
Darien.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
We're so much bigger than they are.
And at the time, the deputy, we've actually lost three to McIntosh County. But the last one that really sticks in my mind, he got almost a $2 an hour raise to leave Wayne County to go down there.
Well, it's a good thing that we're getting our pay for our first responders and sheriff's department and up to par with other counties around us.
Yes, sir. And like I say, I wish I could take credit for all that's going on, but I can't. The commission and the county administrators seen the need, and of course, we were, well, I won't say blessed, but I was the one that brought it to their attention. But like y'all just got through talking about with Mark, the SPLOST. I hate getting into other folks' politics or elections, but I've got a list of items, and that's really what I brought here with me. The items that we've been able to buy, and there's no doubt the SPLOST and the ARP monies have allowed us to buy a lot of equipment that the county wouldn't have been able to afford. And, if you lose the SPLOST, these raises wouldn't be happening. A lot of this equipment that I've got listed here, we've put 15 laptops in the cars. We bought 38 AR rifles so that everybody will have a rifle. We've bought a pistol simulator where we can do actual training in a room instead of going out and actually having to buy ammunition. We've got an electronic system where folks can go through.
That'd be fun to have.
Yes, sir. Well, and really and truly.
I mean, it's great for y'all, but for the average person out there, it'd be fun to.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, it's a judgmental training system. You can do different scenarios,
right,
and have a man make a decision whether he should shoot or not while he's doing it. We've bought tasers. The system that we've had with the body cameras and the in-car cameras is antiquated, so we've had to go out and buy some more. We actually bought 45 body cameras, 15 in-car cameras, and all this stuff is highly expensive. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for SPLOST and ARP monies, it would be terrible for the taxpayers of Wayne County. We've bought a bunch of vehicles since I've been in office. They were at a deficit whenever I took office, and it wasn't any fault of anybody previously. It was COVID. We about couldn't get police vehicles. Matter of fact, I actually ordered 4 trucks, and it took us 18 months to get them.
Oh, that's the 4 trucks sitting across from the sheriff's department parked there. They all look brand new.
Yes, sir. Well, we actually got the 4 that I'd ordered, and we've got them on the road. The 4 that you see there is a new program that the new county administrator and myself spoke to Enterprise rental vehicles. They've got a program to help get government vehicles.
Oh, good.
And we went with them and got those, and they're being outfitted. We're actually waiting for the new in-car cameras.
Right. When you get a vehicle, then you've got to outfit it. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's the thing. All that money from SPLOST and ARP helps with a lot of that. But we've done some good things. We've actually bought 9 used Tahoes, 7 used Explorers because we couldn't get new vehicles. Bought a couple of old Crown Vics, but then we have bought, since I've been in office, 11 new Ford trucks, and we bought 2 Chargers. So the monies that's raised with the SPLOST, and like I say, there's a bunch of needs, and we've done a bunch of training, and we've done some good things since I've been in office. One of the biggest things that I'm proud of, and there's been troubles with that with our manpower, but the city and county is working together. We've got that drug unit up, and it's been working really well. There's some hindrances that have happened recently that's affecting some of that, but bless God, all that'll work out too. We since I've been in office, and like I say, I can't take credit for all this, but I've had a couple of deputies that actually approached me about starting the junior deputy class. It's a program that they've been doing in Brantley County where they take some fifth and sixth graders, and during the summers they'll have a mini academy just to kind of educate them on what deputy sheriffs do. We have some good interaction with them, and we've started that. This will be the 4th year of it. Started out, there was 9 students that applied. The next year there wasn't but 8. But then this last year there was 50 kids.
Oh, wow.
Signed up for it. We actually had to do some reduction so we'd be able to have it, and we're hoping it'll be bigger. We've added 4 SRO positions, and of course we hadn't got them completely filled. We've got 3 that are in the schools now, and we're waiting for a guy to get out of the academy.
Explain to folks what that means.
The school resource officers.
Okay.
We have, and they've been doing this. The school board and the local agencies have been having meetings about school security and such as that. Whenever Dr. Kelly came in, it was spoke of putting an SRO in each school, and of course in those discussions too, we talked about having administrators in the schools having weapons. And as wonderful as it is to have an SRO in there, I think that's one of the better things that has happened, allowing administrators to have guns. They go through a 2-week course every year, and really and truly have about as much training. Well, really and truly, in the long run, will have more training than most police officers. And having a sign on the property that if you come on the property to hurt a kid, you'll be faced with lethal force, is a good thing, because most of them that does the school shootings are cowards. Whenever they're approached by somebody else with a gun, they usually hurt themselves or flee. And I think that's a good thing. But we're close to having all the SROs in the schools. Back to the monies, we bought a new metal detector for the courtroom there at Courtroom C. It allowed us to buy a body scanner, a full body scanner for the jail, to try to stop the advance of contraband in and out. And we've caught several trying to smuggle drugs into the jail. It's been a big help.
Well, they need that in prisons big time, too, don't they?
Oh, yes, sir.
Where you hear about all this contraband that gets in the prisons, it's amazing.
Yes, sir. Well, and the truth is, my daddy started out in the chain gang. He said, son, you can carry a match to one end of a hallway and a cigarette to the other. Before you can walk the distance, they'll be smoking. And it is, you can't keep it out of there, but any tool that you have surely helps.
It sure does help. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're just in the studio with us is Sheriff Chuck Mosley running for re-election. Again, you know what I want to get into. Again, your officers go out and make cases, but they need help with the district attorney to indict them. I want to talk about this high-profile case. The last we heard, the GBI came in and did the full investigation on this arrest that was made of John Yonkowski. He had 3 bond hearings, twice that was denied. The 3rd time he was given a bond, but that's the last we heard. We have protests from women who claim that they were sexually assaulted. So where does that stand? And can you clear up one thing? You know, social media is out there saying that the lead detective has been suspended, and I heard nothing true to that. So can you clear that up, first of all, about Brad Kickletter, the lead detective?
Well, they there he is. That, you know, it's amazing. I've been told by the district attorney, he came and see me on February the 12th, that it was in his intention to perform a giglio action against Brad Kickletter.
Explain what that is.
Well, the giglio action can be withholding evidence, false statements made by an officer, and the stuff that the district attorney mentioned to me, I've looked into, And in my mind, could be misspeaking. And of course, he's well, I don't want to get into what he said. It didn't reach the point where dismissal or suspension was crossed my mind. Yes, sir.
He's trying
on February.
He's definitely trying to discredit the credibility of your officer.
Yes, sir. February 12th, he told me his intentions, told me that he'd have me something in writing that evening or the next day. Well, today, I still haven't received anything in writing. And Giglio is amazing. A police officer or deputy sheriff has no due process. If he's giglioed by a prosecutor, it's done. But I still believe, as me being his employer, it should be provided to me.
Well, what was interesting, we got a call about 2 weeks ago that there was going to be a hearing on that at the courthouse, and we showed up. A bunch of people showed up. Detective Kickletter showed up with his attorney, and all of a sudden we were told it was being dropped. So, again, I'll ask, has he been suspended or not been suspended?
No, he's not suspended.
So he's still on active
working.
duty.
Yes, sir.
So where does this case stand? Do you have any idea where this case is at this point? Because the word is it's either going to drop it, charge is going to be dropped. I said, it amazes me. I don't know where Tiffany Montenegro is, but she was the one. This is the state's case. The state gave all this evidence in 2 bond hearings. They demanded that bond be denied. They stated that he sexually assaulted and date raped an undercover agent. That's the state's case. That's the state's evidence. The state is the DA.
Yes.
Tiffany Montenegro was assistant DA. Twice she got up there and yelled and screamed that bond be denied. And all of a sudden she disappears, and Nigel Lush shows up in the 3rd bond hearing and starts dropping charges left and right. And the judge was just shocked. He's like, what's going on?
Yes,
and then
sir.
they had the protest, and the protest led to a GBI investigation, and that's what I don't know where that is. I understand you got a copy of that GBI investigation, did you not?
Yes, sir.
What's it say? Can you tell us? Can you give us any insight on where they stand?
They performed the interviews on a lot of the victims, and there's some information that they got that I think proved to be helpful. There was actually an additional victim came forward that they spoke to. It was good. They done some interviews, and it'll be helpful.
Is it out of your hands now and in the DA's hands?
Yes, sir. Whenever we make the arrest and we make the charges, it's up to the district attorney's office. This is the thing that I want everybody to think of, though. I'm telling you, if I know a deputy sheriff lies, he's of no use in law enforcement. And I won't have him. I'll fire him. The things that were told to me, I don't see as lies. There's I don't think there's misunderstandings, but I could see where they might be. But this is the thing. Not only is it this case that we're worried about the victims, both the rape case and the others, 14 or 15 victims. I hate to think about what they're going through, because they've come forward. They were brave enough to come forward. And the Giglio action, back to it. If he's allowed, what it does is the district attorney is ethically bound to tell the defense attorneys that he's had issues with his credibility. Well, it's been made clear he's not going to allow Investigator Kickletter to testify at all. So it's not only this case, but about 40 others. The drug dealers brought enough of fentanyl into this county to kill 19,000 people. That case will be gone, and several others.
I've had help looking at these cases. There's pages and pages of cases. This case is not the only one that's not been indicted. Like I said, these people are looking for justice. The job as the DA is to take it to the grand jury, which is made up of 23 Wayne County citizens, and give them the evidence and make them make the decision whether or not it goes to trial or not.
That's right.
And some of these cases, There was a murder trial, the Harder case. You're familiar with that. That was indicted. That was supposed to go to trial. He just walked in and just dropped it totally. So where's the justice for those? I mean, that's all a victim wants is justice. They want their day in court. And if you don't indict, you don't get a day in court. So that seems to be the issue. And again, all the social media out there is saying that he's been suspended, he's been fired, all this stuff. I just wanted you to clarify. None of that's true. That's all false information out there, which is, like I said, don't believe social media because it is a lot of false information.
I don't want to. I try not to be negative, and I try to be gracious. I try to be kind to folks. I get along. I hear remarks all the time. People so proud that there's not fussing and all that, but a lot of times people take that as that kindness as weakness. And I'm telling you, I will not get rid of a man unless I believe he's guilty of something. I still haven't got anything in writing. Everybody but the courthouse janitor has heard things, and it's their only ethical obligation to tell the defense attorney. But everybody's done it, and the chief of police has been approached toward the police department, and it's everywhere.
And I want to make clear, this is not the only high-profile case that's not been indicted. The Tank Lawson case has not been indicted. The Michael Baker fireman who was charged with sexual assault has not been indicted. I mean, none of these cases are taken to the grand jury, and that's out of your hands. You don't have that control. Right. So
that's right.
I mean, there just seems to be an issue of what's going on. Why aren't these cases being taken to the grand jury, and why are there not indictments? And some of these cases are 3-4 years old. People are just sitting in jail, and their cases are just in limbo. So it seems to be a problem. Like I said, I'm glad you clarified. I said all that social media stuff out there, but so where do you think that case is going? I mean, like I said, the GBI did their investigation. It's on his desk, but I've yet to hear anything. What's going to, like I said, the word is he's trying to discredit your detective and try to get the case thrown out.
Well, the district attorney actually told me that with the GBI investigating this, he could go back and prosecute the rape case if he so desired. So I mean that's an option. The sad thing is the rape case is entangled in some other cases, and if those cases go away,
they all go away.
So goes the rape.
Can you clarify one other thing? The lady, the undercover agent that claimed she was drugged that night. The word is she's in Alaska and doesn't work with law. And some say she does. Does she still work with law enforcement? Can you clarify that?
I think she is an officer in Alaska, but Facebook says that she was employed or still employed by the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, and that's wrong. She's never worked for the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. She was an employee of the Jesup Police Department. What they've got is somebody that obviously has access to post, and we do have a lady at the jail with a similar name, but that's not her.
That's not her.
She's never worked for the sheriff's office.
But if this case goes to trial, is she going to be eligible to come back and testify? Do you know that? Or?
Well, that she could probably do it on Zoom. I'm sure she doesn't want to make the trip from Alaska back to here.
They got that technology to get it on Zoom, right?
But there's ways that she could testify. That is, well, I'm not going to go there.
Well, you said that you were supposed to hear back from the district attorney the next day or the day after with his comments about your deputy.
Yes, sir.
And you never heard anything from him. And here it is, almost get to the mid-March here. Have you talked to him? Why haven't you heard anything about him?
I actually carried some information that I'd found pertaining to some of the allegations that he made. I actually went to his office and popped in, and he was there, and asked him again for the letter, and still haven't received
anything. No, I was just wondering what evidence he may have against your deputy, but has not presented it to you in the timely manner like he said he was. People just wonder about what's going on with that situation.
I'm wondering too, Mr.
Let's get back to your election. Like I said, this is a big county. You've been through it before. You did it 4 years ago, successfully won the sheriff's race. So you got people in all these different areas helping you during this campaign. And
Well, I
and
tell
like I
you,
said, you made a good point. When you're sheriff, it's hard to get out and campaign because
Yes.
you're doing the sheriff's job. So how do you
Yes.
deal with that issue?
well, I can tell you, just thinking about it now makes me feel plumb guilty about running against John Carter. I'm telling you, bless his heart, but it I try to stay around the office because if I leave and somebody comes by, I'm never there, and so I try to stay. Believe it or not, dinner time. A lot of people come to see the sheriff during dinner because they've got a break and can come by.
This is lunch, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Here in the South, we call it dinner.
That's right.
For a
That's
lot of
right.
folks,
That's
they
right.
moved in, dinner's supper. So,
That's
we got, dinner and then supper. So you're talking about
That's
lunchtime. Yeah.
Yes, sir. But I try to, I try to stay at the office so that, that people can call or come by and see me, and I tell you, whenever I ran before, I was without a job. I had plenty of time to sit on a tailgate and give away drinks, well now it's not quite that way. So I just ask people to understand that I do love getting out and seeing people, and but I'm not a show dog. I went to baseball games because I had a nephew playing. I went to the football games because I had nephews playing, and of course I still go to football. I love football, and don't feel hard because I'm not at those functions. I just I've had people tell me you need to go to every funeral. Well, that would be good, and if I knew folks, I wouldn't mind doing it, but I don't want somebody to see me at the funeral home and say he's just here begging for votes, or I want to try to be sincere in what I do. But I want to ask everybody for the vote. If you have questions you want to ask me, my cell phone number is 256-2855. 256-2855, and I'm kind of like that Tracy Brown commercial. You call once, I might not answer. Whenever I get out the shower, I call you back. And
Tracy Brown probably appreciates the
But,
shout out there.
But I tell you, I try to do the next right thing in whatever I do. I try to be fair to folks. I try to treat folks the way I like to be treated. I try to control my emotions and not get ugly, and I just try to be good to folks. But I am for what's right.
Now, the sheriff's race is a partisan race. All y'all registered as Republicans, right?
Yes, sir.
So y'all's primary will come up in May, or is it June?
It's May.
May.
Yes,
okay.
sir. The first vote will be May the 21st, and then if there's a runoff, it'll be in June.
Okay. All right.
Well, again,
Thank
we
y'all.
wish you the best of luck and appreciate you coming in. And
Thanks,
again,
sir.
you're always welcome here on the Butch and Bob Show.
Thanks,
All right,
sir.
Wayne County
Appreciate
Sheriff
it.
Chuck Mosley, our special guest this morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show here on WIFO. And the world-famous Butch and Bob Show has been brought to you by First Southern Bank, Van's Barbecue, Murphy Builder Supply, and by O'Quinn & Associates.